Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. So, it was, uh, special late, uh, last day of special late for deer today. Uh, didn't get anything. I think they're smarter than me because it was 34 when I left the house this morning. Uh, I knew it was gonna dip 1 or 2 degrees, as the sun came up. That's just like a heating effect. The hot air rises, pushes cold air down. Can't feel my hands while I'm filming this. I did find two pretty neat glass jars out here. Uh, Third one was broken. But from a prepping point of view, layering super important. Uh, should have brought some gloves out. That'd make my hands feel better. Uh, on my feet, I've got some merino wool socks, so they feel mostly okay. Although I have been sitting in a blind for about 3 hours. I think the movement is gonna warm them back up, and the thought of getting back in the truck. Uh, like I said, this hand, it's completely cold because the glass jars I found, I'm holding them. But my entire chest and like legs, they feel great. I've got a pair of silk kind of legging type things on underneath my jeans. Legs, they could feel a little bit warmer. My upper body is where the layering went very, very crazy. You can see the green jacket on. It's kind of the windbreaker. The gray area is 100% cotton, so that's more insulation. But I really think it's the mostly rainproof layer that really helps seal in the heat. I say mostly because this jacket's 13 years old now, and I've definitely burnt some holes in it. But then, I got my beanie on, so that's helping keep the head warm. Then I've got my A&M hoodie on, which it's like an athletic blend. Under that is my waffle top, which is 100% cotton, or maybe 90% cotton and like 10% polyester. With a 100% cotton long sleeve on underneath that. So I was able to put my hands in my pocket of the hoodie underneath the green jacket and never lost feeling in it the entire time. It actually felt very warm. I could immediately tell, a loss of heat. I thought I heard a deer at one point, so I, got the rifle up, held it up for 10, 15 minutes. Nothing ever came out into the clearing. So, it is what it is. Hands go back in, and that's when I immediately feel them warming up again. But oh, that track is very, very fresh. But it looks like a very, very small doe. I would have taken a small doe if I saw it. My philosophy this morning was if it's brown, it's down. But yeah, this hand is already, or both hands really, are feeling very, very, very chilly. And it's only, I started the video right as the walk starts. It's, maybe 0.4 miles getting back to the truck. Oh. But what I was saying is I knew it was going to be cold today. And I knew where some hot hands were, or some hand warmers. Yeah, they're called hot hands. Duh. And I got up this morning and I went to where I know my hot hands are, and they weren't there. So I, in fact, did not know where hot hands were. So I really thought I was going to get cold this morning. Turns out just the hands are getting cold. Had to pull the old handgun out. The first few times I came out hunting, I didn't bring it with me. I didn't think it was that pressing until I ran into a pack of mostly wild dogs. They never saw me the first time. I think it's because I was actually in a stand, and they didn't care. But it wasn't something I was just too keen on having to deal with. A bolt action rifle. And the one time I saw on those 3, another time I saw on those 2. So yeah, didn't want to deal with that. Where did I just put those keys? Oh, see, that's how you really I don't know. It's probably gonna show up backwards. Oh, it was. Oh wait, it is telling me a number. I just learned something about this truck. It's switching back and forth between saying ice and 37. Ice 37. And yeah, it's been a 20-minute drive out here. And the truck will warm up to about 185, 190-ish. And we're just slightly a tick above the 160. So it cooled off pretty nicely. The air coming out. It's still cold enough, or my hands are still cold enough, that I can't really tell if the heat has started yet or not. So I'm letting my hands warm up a little bit. But back to the whole idea of layers. I have full range of motion, and like I already said, green jacket, hoodie, waffle top is under there, t-shirt. Oh, we're sliding. I think we're still sliding. I need something heavier than a 3 amp battery. Let's try the 4 amp battery. But as the days go on, let's put the 3 amp behind it. And it warms up, or you do stuff that warms you up. I can very easily take layers off. And as I become stationary, or get to a shady spot, you can re-add layers. Like I said, I mean, the truck now says it's 35, but it is, objectively cold out there, especially for where I'm at. People in the north are gonna say, it's not that bad. But I think my uncle is a really good example of this. We went into downtown Chicago for Black Friday. Not a fun thing to do, by the way. But he wore a very simple jacket. They had the wagon for their kids and stuff. And it was constantly going off and on. He had a t-shirt on underneath. Because every single one of those stores are warm enough that you could basically wear shorts and a t-shirt inside, and you're not going to have any issues. But if he had to stay outside for a prolonged period of time, that big Carhartt jacket is not going to do him a massive amount of good. The pants situation, that's a little bit more different. The socks, I'd say layering is more difficult, so you just kind of get a really good pair of socks. That way you can, you're just wearing the one, because, like, I'm pretty sure even in the tennis shoes I'm wearing a second pair of socks would be weird. Like, I'm normally either not wearing socks or wearing a very thin pair of socks, so putting on my thicker wool socks, my feet feel a little funny. And I'd like this video to show, hey, shot a deer, taking meats home, but you win some, you lose some. It just kind of shows me more and more, because I didn't get anything this year. I came out 4 or 5 times. I know one of them, that one weekend was basically ruined because I saw the dogs. But it just kind of tells you can't, completely rely on this. And I mean, the area that I'm hunting is several hundred acres. 3 or 4 family members all have, their parcels of land out here. And I don't think anyone, like, I didn't see any pictures in any of the group chats. So I don't think anyone that does come out here and hunt, got anything out here this year. I think most of them, came out here 1 or 2 times and then, went to other places. So we might do the same thing next year. Although now that deer season is basically over, I could do an evening hunt today, but probably not going to happen because I've got a bunch of other stuff to get done this weekend. But we have been seeing more hogs recently, and the smaller ones don't taste bad. So we'll see if we can get lucky in that avenue. And if not, the squirrels up here have gotten nice and plump and fat. Now that it's finally gotten cold enough where they're not probably actively getting, any more acorns and nuts and stuff. So we might get the old pellet gun out. See if we can round up a meal or 2 of that. I was almost less excited about the deer meat this year. I really wanted a pelt. I cured one back in high school, and I thought it was one of the coolest things ever. And I went and got the stuff to do one this year, and I think we're gonna wait till next year for that to happen. almost out of water. It's not even going to be a point of this video, but this is about a third of the water that I need for a day. Not the 3 ounces that's left in there. I drink more than, 10 ounces of water. But I try to keep at least a day's worth of water in the pickup truck with me. I think I've got half a case left in the bag. Just another thought process. Everyone can keep water in their vehicle. But I think the truck's warmed up enough that I want to drive it. So I'm going to get home and go see the baby. If you enjoy this content, like the video, share it with your friends and family. Leave your questions down below and I'll answer basically all of them because, we got less than 400 of us here. And with that, catch you in the next one.